What is going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video, my sports Gematria. In this video, I'm going to go over some UFC fights for Saturday, February 12th, 2022. I'm going to show you highlights of each side, and it's going to be up to you to determine who you think will win based on the numbers. I encourage you to add additional information on top of this if needed for you to feel confident in your own pick. And I wish you guys the best of luck on all your picks today. Let's go ahead and get into the fights. We're going to be looking at UFC 271, Adesanya versus Whittaker Part 2. We're going to be looking at all 5 fights here. I'm going to just go over each one of them very quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time on each one, but just to show you highlights of each side, like I said. Let's go ahead and bring up the numbers here. On this side of the screen is what I call my daily numbers, date numerology, Gregorian Hebrew calendar. And then on this side of the screen is what I call my game numbers specific to the game. The way that I have it structured here is I have the event name up at the top here. UFC 271. 271 mathematically is the 58th prime number, so I just have that marked there. I have the location of the fights right here. Stadium, city, state, stadium. I said that twice. All right. City, state, and stadium. Forgive me. The weight class of the fight right here. And then I have the fighters here at the bottom. One fighter, their name, Gematria, birthday to and from, fight record, any type of win or losing streak that they're on, their UFC record. In the middle is the Gematria last name head-to-head record, or numbers, excuse me, if I remember how to talk. At the bottom is the other fighter. Their name, Gematria, their birthday to and from, their fight record, any type of winning or losing streak that they're on, their UFC record, things like that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go in order of the way the fights are starting. So the first fight, of course, is Green versus Paras. And then the last fight I'll talk about would be the main event, Adesanya versus Whittaker. So if you're looking for a particular fight, just fast forward to whichever fight you're looking for. It's going to be in order. But let's go ahead and start with the first fight here. Nasrat versus Bobby. Let me get the full screen up. Get the banner going. 271. Let me turn my background light off. All right. Green versus Paras. I know I'm mispronouncing these names. Forgive me. I apologize. But let's go ahead and get into this first fight. Usually I start with the home team, but there's no home or win or away teams in these fights. So I'm just going to start with the bottom fighter, and then I'll go on to the top fighter. So some numbers here for Nasrat to win this fight could be his birthday. It's 174, or a total span of 175 days since his 26-year-old birthday. His name, Nasrat Paras, sums to 174. His opponent, Bobby Green, sums to 175. It's 174, a total span of 175 days since his birthday. Bobby Green, it's 157 days, or it's the 157th day of his current age, which is just an anagram of 175. Nasrat, 175th day of his age. This is UFC 271. Which I thought was an anagram of 157, but it's not. So let me just retract that. Forgive me, my bad. But yeah, Nasrat 174, Bobby Green 175. It's 174, a total span of 175 days since Nasrat's last birthday. It'll be his 26th birthday that it's from. 26 written out sums to 159. Today is the 159th day of the Hebrew civil calendar. It's also the 43rd day of the Gregorian silver calendar, and Nasrat can get his 14th win, 43, the 14th prime number. It's 191 days till his next birthday, 191, the 43rd prime number. Today, the 43rd day of the Gregorian, 43, the 14th prime. He can get his 14th win. Green versus Paras sums to 191, the 43rd prime number. 43, the 14th prime. Today has 11 date numerology on the Gregorian. If we write out 11 sums to 63. And he could become 6-3 for a UFC record as he gets his 14th win for his career. So those would be some numbers that would favor Nasrat. Some numbers that would favor Bobby Green, I honestly could not tell you. I couldn't find anything for the 29. I couldn't find anything for the 13. I couldn't find anything for the 10-7-1. I couldn't find anything for the 9-8-1. So if Bobby Green's going to win this fight, I couldn't tell you why. I can only tell you why Nasrat could potentially win, but even then, I don't necessarily have a whole lot of faith in those numbers. The only thing that I can think of for Bobby Green is it's the 157th day of his 35-year-old age. 157 mathematically is the 37th prime number. 157 is the 37th prime number. 37 is the 12th prime number. He can sit on 12 losses for his career on the 157th day of his age. 157 the 37th prime, 37 the 12th. He sits on 12. He can get his 29th win for his career as he gets his 10th UFC win. 29, the 10th prime number. It's 209 days till his next birthday. 209 looks like a 29. You can also say 29 sums to 149, the 35th prime number. And it being the 157th day of his 35-year-old age, he could become 29-12. Sits on that 12, gets that 29, which connects to 149, the 35th prime. So, I mean, I guess he does have some things here, some numbers here that you can poke at. But I don't know. I really don't know. I'll make a pick on this fight, but I'm definitely not going to be putting any money on this fight. There's nothing here for me to really say either way. You know, this for me, this is going to be a guess. This fight was just going to be a guess. It's just a guesstimate. I couldn't tell you either which way. There's no real numbers here for Bobby Green for winning and losing. And the numbers for Nasrat, the 14 and the 63, I don't trust. And you'll know why I don't trust it when I get into the other fights. 4 out of the 5 fights, there's a fighter that could become 14-4. So I don't know how many fighters are going to become 14-4 tonight, but there's potentially 4 out of the 5 main fights. Somebody could become 14-4 with a win or a loss. So I don't know how often that's going to happen tonight, but I don't necessarily trust these numbers here for Nasrat. But that's all I have for this particular fight right here. It sucks, I know. I apologize, but let's move on. I'll make a pick on my Patreon, but I'm not going to be betting it. That's for sure. Okay, so Alexander versus Hernandez. Alexander Hernandez versus Renato Moicano. This fight right here, I literally put together just before I hit the record button. I had a different fight in this place, but apparently the fight that was in right here, that was supposed to be the second fight of the night, moved to the prelims, and this fight was bumped up. So I just did these numbers really quickly. So let's start with the bottom here. Renato Moicano. We'll start with his numbers, and then we'll go on to Alexander. Actually, you know what? Let me just show you this. Alexander Hernandez, he has the same fight record as Nasrat Haqparast. I can't say these guys' last names. Nasrat, 14-4, 13-5, or 6-3-5-4. Alexander Hernandez, 14-4, 13-5, or 6-3-5-4. So identical records. Identical records. If Nasrat loses, maybe Alexander's losing. If Nasrat wins, maybe Alexander wins. Because it's the same information, right? He can get his 14th win. He can go 6-3. Today's the 43rd day, the 14th prime with 11-date numerology. 11 sums to 63. Alexander Hernandez actually sums to 307, the 63rd prime number. But it's also the 135th day of his age, and he can become 13-5 with a loss. Renato Moicano, today is February 12th, 2/12. This is his 21st fight. He can get his second win in a row, 2-1-2. February 12th, 2-1-2. Today does have a 36-date numerology on the Gregorian, 36 sums to 53, the 16th prime. He can get his 16th win for his career. He can also become 15-5 with a loss. This is UFC 271, the 58th prime number. If we write out 58, comes to 155. Not the best of look for these first 2 fights. I must say. I'm doing a pretty crappy job. I apologize, guys. These fights right here, I didn't see any numbers either which way for Bobby Green or Nasrat. I don't trust these numbers, 14 or 63. Just like I don't trust these numbers for Alexander, 14 or 63. Like I said, there's 4 out of 5 fights. There's a fighter that could become 14-4. How many of them will actually become 14-4? I don't know. We'll find out. But I don't trust the numbers. And then plus, I just put this fight together right before I hit the record button. So I really haven't looked at this fight other than his fight record's identical to Nasrat's fight record. And then Renato, the only thing I see got going for him is the 21 and the 2. And then he can get a 16th win for his career. It is 267 days since his 32nd birthday. This is UFC 271. 271 written out sums to 276, which is just an anagram of 267. His name sums to 73, the 21st prime number. It's his 21st fight. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'll be betting this fight either. I probably won't be betting this fight. I'll be making a pick on all these fights, but I'm definitely not going to be putting any money on this fight either. The only thing I really like is the 135. It's the 135th day of Alexander's age, 13-5. Everything else here, I couldn't tell you. I'm just going to move on. I apologize. And I even got the wrong name down. Phillips versus Rojo. I should have fixed that. This is a shitty video, you guys. I apologize. My bad. Okay. Got the name Hernandez versus Moicano. Doesn't really matter because I'm done talking about this fight. There's nothing really here for me to talk about. Let's move on to Cannonier versus Brunson. Now, this fight is confusing. Now, the first 2 fights, these 2 fights, I'm going to make a pick on, but I'm definitely not betting because I don't see any numbers any which way that gives me a clue on who's winning and who's losing. Now, this fight is just confusing. This is another fight I'm not betting. I'll just make a pick on it, but I'm not betting. So this is the 3rd fight in a row that I'm just not going to bet on. I can care less about the winner or the loser. I'll make a pick on it, but these fights, these numbers are confusing. This one in particular, Jared Cannonier versus Derek Brunson. I mean, look at this. His name, Jared Cannonier, sums to 247 and 85. He's either going to become 8-5 for a UFC record with the win, or Derek Brunson is going to become 24-7 for a fight record with the win. His name, 247 or 85. Which is it? Is it the 8-5 or is it the 247? On top of that, Derek Brunson sums to 146. Derek Brunson can become 14-6 for a UFC record with a loss, or Jared Cannonier can become 14-6 for a fight record in his career with the loss. So you have a 14-6 here, you have a 14-6 here, you have a 247 here, you have an 85 here. Jared Cannonier 247.85, Derek Brunson 146. I mean, make your best guess. Which is it going to be? Is it going to be the 146 or the 85? Is it going to be the 247 or the 146? Goes either way. Doesn't really matter. On top of that, this is UFC 271. 271 is the 58th prime number. If we write out the number 58, like I already have here, it sums to 155. And which way is it going to go? Is Jared Cannonier going to become 15-5 for a fight record with his career with a win? Or is Derek Brunson going to become 15-5 for a UFC record in his fight career with a win? Goes either way. These numbers, I wouldn't bet on this fight. It goes either way. I think the only real edge here that I can give would be to Jared, and that's the 85 number. Jared Cannonier sums to 85. He could become 8-5 for a UFC record. And then Derek Brunson would get his 8th loss for his career, ending his 5-fight winning streak. 8-5. 8-5. That's probably the pattern I would follow. Outside of that, the 146 and the 15-5, the 146, the 15-5, the 24-7, it can go either way. It doesn't really matter. Jared Cannonier 247, Derek Brunson 146. This is UFC 271, the 58th prime. 58 sums to 155. Those numbers are just confusing for both sides. If I was going to lean towards the side, I would just lean towards the 85. Honestly, just the 8-5. Derek Brunson, 8th loss, 5th in his 5-fight win streak. But it could just as easily be the 247. It could be the 146. It could be the 155 for Derek Brunson, or it could be the 155 for Jared, the 146 for Derek Brunson, and then you got the 8-5, 8th loss, 5th in his 5-fight win streak, and you got the 8-5 for Jared for his UFC fight record. Confusing fight. All three, the first 3 fights, I'm just not betting on. I'm not putting any money on. I can care less about them. I wish you guys the best of luck if you actually care about those fights. I see 0 numbers for the first 2. And then this third fight right here, Jared and Derek, the numbers are so confusing. It's like, why even bother? Derek Lewis, Tuivasa. I know I mispronounced that one. Man, this is a shitty video. I apologize, guys. All right, so let's start with Ty, and then we'll go over Derek Lewis numbers. If Ty was going to win this fight, I really hate this card. This card sucks. Like, I can't even make anything with this card. So Ty Tuivasa sums to 33. It's 333 days since his birthday. It's a total span of 33 days till his next birthday. What does that all mean? I have no idea. It doesn't point to anything. I mean, I guess you can say he sits on 3 losses for his career, as he sits on 3 UFC losses for his career with the win. But again, I mean, that doesn't really mean anything. To me personally, it doesn't do anything. He could sit on 14 wins for his career. Today is the 43rd day of the Gregorian, 43 the 14th prime. But again, here's a 14-4. Ty Tuivasa could become 14-4 for a record with a loss. Alexander could become 14-4 with the win. Nasrat Haqparast could become 14-4 with the win. So you got 14-4 here. You got a 14-4 here. And then here's your third 14-4. I wouldn't mess with any of these fights. I have no reason to mess with any of these fights. All of them, 4 out of the 5 have 14-4 numbers. Who knows which ones are actually going to hit? Your guess is as good as mine. The only thing that I see in this fight here would be for Derek Lewis, the 27. He can get his 27th win for his career. If you write out the number 27, sums to 125 and 53. It also sums to 172. This being UFC 271, an anagram of 172. Derek Lewis can get his 27th win for his career on a day with 36 date numerology. 36 sums to 152 and 53, just like 27 sums to 125 and 53. He's currently 36 years old. And that's about it. If Ty was going to win this fight, I would say it's going to be based off of the number 163. Toyota Center sums to 163. Derek Lewis, 136. It's a total span of 361 days till Derek Lewis's next birthday. In his 36th fight, he can end his 1-fight win streak like 361, 136. And then Ty was born on March 16th, 3/16 or 16/3. I would say that would be an edge that Ty has against Lewis. But this is the 4th fight that I am not betting. I'm going to make a pick on, but I'm not betting. These numbers mean absolutely nothing to me. And this video is very bad. I apologize to you guys that are watching this. So let's go to the main event. I didn't even switch over to Lewis Tide verbiage. Let's go to Adesanya. This video is so bad. I apologize. Adesanya versus Whittaker. I don't even want to finish this fight. I don't even want to bet on this fight either. This whole fight card annoys me, as you can tell in my voice. Like, I just don't want to. I don't want nothing to do with any of these fights. All 5 of these fights can get lost, in my opinion. But Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker. Adesanya versus Whittaker sums to 116. This is the 11th day of the 6th month on the Hebrew Civil, like 116. Robert Whittaker could become 25-5 for a fight record in his career with a win. 116, if I can spell it correctly. Sums to 255. And that would be the numbers for Robert Whittaker. Also, Robert Whittaker, his name sums to 212. This is February 12th, 212. And Israel Adesanya could become 21-2, like 212, for a fight record in his career with a loss. It's just that simple. It could be just that easy and that simple. However, I don't believe it's that easy and that simple. It never is. It never is that easy, and it never is that simple. You can say middleweight, sums to 205, 61. 205 days since Israel's birthday. He can become 6-1 in title fights, like 61. He can sweep Whittaker 2-0, like 20 on a day with 20 date numerology. And Whittaker, his name sums to 193, the 44th prime number. 44 written out sums to 144. And Whittaker could be the 4th person on this card to become 14-4 for a record in his career. It'd be his UFC record. So Whittaker could become 14-4. Ty could become 14-4. Alexander Hernandez could become 14-4. And Nasrat could become 14-4. Because of that, I want nothing to do with this card. There's no variety here. Everything's relatively the same. And there's no back and forth. I don't trust any of these fights. I don't trust any of these numbers. I don't trust this whole entire card. I want nothing to do with this card. I'm not going to bet any of these fights. Turn the background light on. I just want nothing to do with any of this. I apologize, you guys. I know this isn't the best video. I tried to come up with some reasoning for these fights. I don't trust Israel Adesanya. I don't trust Robert Whittaker. I don't trust these numbers. I don't trust Derek Lewis. I don't trust Ty. I don't trust these numbers. I don't trust Jared. I don't trust Derek. I don't trust these numbers. I don't trust Alexander. I don't trust Renato. I don't trust these numbers. I don't trust Bobby Green. I don't trust Nasrat. I don't trust these numbers. I probably should have never even recorded this video. I probably never should even put these games together. But the only way I would have found out that I didn't trust these numbers if I would have went ahead and put these games together, which I did. It's the only way I would have found out that I didn't like them. I was looking forward to this event. I thought it was going to be a good one, but I see no point in throwing my money away on these fights. I wish you guys the best of luck on your picks. I'm going to make picks for this event. So if you want to know who I'm going to be picking for this event, you'll have to join my Patreon. But with that being said, I'm going to be guessing on all 5 of these fights. So it's probably not even worth it. They're just going to be guess picks. And on top of that, I'm not even going to be playing my own money on those picks. So hopefully this helps a little bit to give you an idea of what these numbers look like in these fights. But my attitude towards this whole entire card is very bad. I have a bad attitude. I'm not liking it. It doesn't look fun. And I apologize. Forgive me, guys. Sorry for wasting your time. I wish you the best of luck on all your picks. Hopefully you win all the money in the world. And I'll see you in the next video.